What's up out there? It has been, I don't know how long it's been since the last video, but I have a new build to talk about. I want to do a quick recap of a couple of things on my other two builds. We're going to start off with the Caustic Arrow build real fast here. I want to run through the skills that I have real quick because I did make a change on the Toxic Rain part, but it's been so long I don't remember what we have and have not talked about. So just to run through this real quick, I still have my 5-link on my bow. I've got Caustic Arrow, Vicious Projectiles, Mirage Archer, Void Manipulation, and Concentrated Effect Support. That is for the Caustic Arrow side. You concentrate the effect down, it does more damage. I think this benefits from that. And this also, Caustic Arrow itself benefits from the levels of skill, the gem levels you get. So plus 2 level of socketed bow gems actually benefits this out. We've got Chaos, Dot, Multi, and all that kind of stuff on here. We're also running Flame Dash, and then on the helmet, well, that's on the helmet, but then also on the helmet, we've got Ensnaring Arrow with Mana Forged Arrows and Culling Strike. So the idea is to call up the Mana Forged Arrows that will make the Ensnaring Arrow kick off, and then try to do Culling Strike whenever that all kicks together. Then on the gloves, we've got Clarity for, what is this, mana regen. Then we've got Despair for a curse. We've got Grace for evasion rating, and then Precision for accuracy. On the boots, we are running Automation with Phase Run, Steel Skin, and Withering Step. And then the big change that I've made was on my Toxic Rain. So we're mana forging Toxic Rain of Withering onto this. So we've got Toxic Rain Withering. This is on a 6-link, Mana Forged Arrows. I added increased area effect support. Somebody was saying like efficacy or something. I can't remember what it was, but I thought, you know what? With this skill, we're doing concentrated area of effect. Why not do increased area of effect so that the pools are a little bit bigger when they fire off? So these blast off and overlap. Supposedly that they don't necessarily give you a big, the overlap, how can I say this? Because I don't remember exactly everything that all the comments were. That was like half a week ago or more. But basically I tried to make these so that they kind of overlap a little bit when they go off, and that's why I tried this with increased area of effect. There is efficacy, there is life taps, because if I don't do life tap, they never get called. So you can see that it's coming down here with Toxic Rain. You can also see the Ensnaring Arrows kicking off. I just don't get the spend if I don't life tap the Caustic Arrow or the Toxic Rain portion of it. And then we've got Vicious Projectiles. So in my notes, I show that I've added increased area of effect and Vicious Projectiles. I also put some new gloves on here, which give me a little bit of damage leached his life. Trying to help out with the staying alive part of it. So this build is currently up to level 88. I did a bunch of heist with it, and I've got a whole bunch of items from heist. Nothing that I want. I need the replica Dream Feather, but I did end up getting the Khaleesi's Grit. All these are replicas. Replica Alpha Hall, Innsbury Edge, Iron Commander. This is probably all really common stuff. But at any rate, I got a bunch of this stuff out of here, and I thought it was pretty cool. Replica Cold Iron Point, which is plus 3 levels of all cold spell skill gems. You know, if this was the actual Cold Iron Point, I could use this in my Exsanguinate build, but it's not. So I just kind of compiled all this stuff in here because I was going to try to sort through it and see if there was anything cool for a build. I thought about maybe doing, because I got some fire stuff in here, increased fire damage and things like that. I thought about maybe revisiting Righteous Fire now that we've had all the skill changes to it. But at any rate, that is where I'm at with this build. I've basically queued this thing up with all these different heist contracts that I'm going to run at some point. But let's talk about Exsanguinate real quick. So the big change with my Exsanguinate build is that I did get a Cold Iron Point. I got this off of a Nameless Seer. He actually showed up in one of my maps that I was running. I got it, I threw it on here, and it instantly jumped my damage up quite a bit. I don't remember what I was before, but it's actually, no, I don't think I can show it because I think I got rid of the weapon. Actually, it's this weapon, so I can show it. So we're doing 26,682 to 40,000. If I swap this out, we were doing 18 to 28. So this adds a significant amount of We go from 18 to 28 to 26 to 39. So that adds a significant amount of damage in there. I would ideally like to find a second cold iron point, but I was doing good to get this one. Now, the cool thing is I built this Exsanguinate build at the very end of last league, so I already have one of the cold iron points. So if I don't find one for this league, or if I don't find a second one this league, when this goes to standard, I will be able to have two, which is going to be another +3 Fizz spell skill gems, which actually raises the Exsanguinate damage like considerably. As you can see, it just adds a lot. So if I can find a second one of them for this, that'll help this build out. Ideally, I'd like to redo this build and make it into a armor stacker, which I'm going to have to get a lot of Orbs of Regret stacked up, because you basically have to burn all your skill points off, pretty much all your passive points, and all the ascension points and everything. Like, you have to burn all this off, because I think we come off up at this angle somewhere and come up on the outside. But anyway, I've got the damage up on this a little bit. What I'm suffering with now is survivability, and I think it's because I switched over to this energy shield. I'm not sure. I kind of got, like, there is energy shield on this. I'm not taking anything on here like iron reflexes, which is down here. So I don't have anything that speaks to evasion or something like that specifically. Like, there's certain nodes that you take that say if you have all, I don't know, if you have all armor on your gear, you're going to get an extra point of whatever. I think it's one of these over here somewhere. Whichever one it is, I don't remember. But there's two different ones that I've taken for other builds, where if you have all armor or all evasion, you get like a plus fire resist or something like that, +1 fire resist, whatever it is. I'm not taking any of that for this specific build, not the armor stacker version, but this specific build. I don't have any of that on here, so I'm freeform to use whatever gear I can get. So I've adjusted my filter, and I'm going to try to collect some gear and see if I can modify this and make it any better or worse or whatever, get it a little better than where it is. I was trying to push some actual in-game content with this, and I ran into some brick walls. It just cannot boss. At the current stage that it is now, this is without that cold iron point, and it's going to need some additional, I don't know, it's going to need some better armor and resistances and stuff like that. Like, it's only got 17,000 armor. I mean, I guess it's got some decent damage reduction, a little bit of evasion. If I can turn the purity of elements on, we have decent resistances. I had better chaos res, but I ended up moving the ring to another build. And because this build was not performing very well, Friday I called an audible and started, well, I finished off my Bone Shatter Juggernaut. So let's look at that build real quick. So here we are with my new Bone Shatter build for this league. This is the one that I started off at the very beginning of the league. I got it up into Act 2, I think, and then just parked it. I didn't think I was going to need it because my Exsanguinate build was doing so well. However, like I said, my Exsanguinate builds kind of ran into a brick wall, even though I mapped everything out, and I couldn't tell how difficult the league was, whether it was my build that wasn't doing as good as it could be, or whether it was the league itself, you know, with all the difficulty and stuff we've had with this league. This build has performed phenomenally, and I've got some more work to do. I happen to have a 6-link chest piece that is a Majestic plate, so I was able to put this on, but this is a build that I'm gonna need armor and evasion both on here. So I've got Pig-Face Bassinet with armor and evasion. We've got Worm Scale gauntlets and Dragon Scale boots. So everything on here except for my chest piece is armor and evasion. The cool thing is you don't necessarily need 2 6-links. So I don't necessarily need a 6-link weapon, or if I could get a 6-socket, if I could get a 6-link weapon and swap it out, that'd be fine. If I could get a 6-link, you know, I don't need both of them to be 6-linked. That's the cool thing about this build, because you're going to put Ancestral Protector off on its own with multiple totem support, and then you can do, like, I copied somebody else's build with Vengeance, Berserk, Rage support, and Ancestral War Chief. So basically, Rage support's going into Ancestral War Chief and Vengeance, and then Berserk's kind of off on its own. This is basically the same build that I had last league, and this is, I think, Tripolar's version of it. So we are currently level 85. I've got most of this done. The downside is I did a lot of experimenting last league. I had some POBs saved of my different builds and everything. And I deleted my character when the league ended. I moved all the gear off to the Exsanguinate build that's sitting in my standard SSF, standard mode SSF right now. So I don't have the build to look at and go look at the passive tree. I don't have any of the gear left over because it's all kind of moved over into that other build. And some of it's been modified slightly to accommodate that build. So I don't know what skills I was running. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't have. So I'm basically running this one exactly as prescribed for the moment. I'll do some experimentation here. I do remember that I liked the Fortify coming off of this wheel over here. And I do remember that I tinkered around with whether you should do Impale or not. I've been holding off on going into these Impale nodes over here, but I don't remember everything about it. I've got a couple of things to pick up here. We've got some spell suppression and what over here? Evasion, a little bit extra evasion. So this gets phasing. I might look at doing phasing with this build. That does seem like a good idea. I like phasing on my Caustic Arrow build. But like I said, I don't have any of my POBs. Because I was doing a running current version POB. So that current version is now this, and it was what this was when this league started. I just called it current version. I didn't call it 3.23 and save it off as that build. So I've just completely lost everything I had. But this build's doing really well so far. We've got the axe could use a little bit of work for sure. And one of these I have. Well, this has got trap throwing speed. I just don't have the currency to fix it. Inflict cold exposure. The implicits suck on that. This one's got damage per power charge. I don't even think I'm getting power charges at the moment. This one's not bad. So we've got 7% increased life regen and plus 1% maximum fire res, which will help out. And then this one here's got 18% increased armor and 1% max cold res. Somewhere in here, oh yeah. So on my armor, on the crafted mod, I have 5% of fizz damage taken as fire and 5% as lightning. That I found out way too late last league was huge and very important to have with Bone Shatter. So I'm not getting into too much trouble with my stacks right now. I have got a lot of fire res, we've got a lot of cold res, and I've actually got a decent amount of chaos res. I robbed, I think it's this ring here that gives the big chaos resistance from my Exsanguinate build. So I toned my Exsanguinate build slightly down and then toned this one slightly up, and it's got some life leech, chaos res, cold res, stuff like that. I added lightning damage to attacks, which I really don't need or care about, and something on here I think deals no, is it this one that deals no, yeah, it deals no chaos or elemental, so that doesn't matter if it's on the ring, I just don't deal any of it. But, and that's the other thing, I went through a whole bunch of changes with this, and I don't remember everything I had as far as skill gems, you know, or support gems and stuff like that. So there's a long way to go. I don't know if I can get the Immortal Flesh on here yet. I tried putting it on and my res was too low, but that's before I snuck this Purity of Elements on here. I don't know. And I can't run either Pride or Determination. Like, I can run one or the other. I switched over to Purity of Elements, so it's kind of taken up that 43.1%, but I can't run another one because I'm basically out of mana at that point. So I don't remember how I solved that with my other build, like if I life tapped or arrogance or something I don't remember exactly. But build's going great right now. We're running good content, and we can start a map here. This is running on my, what are we running on here? This is on my left side map, which has Delirium, Beyond, Essence Monsters. Like, this thing's getting kind of crazy. And I'm running this as a rare map. Like, we've got a lot of modifiers on here. I don't have fizz damage. Watch me die at this or something. But we've been doing pretty good with this build. Bone Shatter is definitely not one to sneeze at. This build performs really well. So, yeah, this is doing just work. So almost every map, you know, one of the big complaints I had last league when I tried Beyond was that you rarely ever got Beyond monsters on. This league, it's just non-stop Beyond. So basically what I'm running now is we've got level 73 monsters. I'm level 85. I try to run about 10 levels lower. This is a little bit more than that. This just happens to be the map that's in my inventory. I was starting to run red maps. What I really want to do is start getting into all the bossing. I want to start trying to get Awakened Gems. As far as I understand things, you get Awakened Gems from bossing. And this is where my Exsanguinate build was just not working out. Like, it's got the DPS, but it doesn't have the survivability. And I'm running through some like, I haven't been really doing bossing with this. I've been mostly just trying to level it up as quickly as possible. So, and usually I'm doing more looting at this point. Oop, almost died there. But not really been having much of an issue. I've died a few times for sure. I've done some stupid things that I shouldn't have. But largely this is doing just an insane amount of work. This is way better than it was with my Exsanguinate build. With my Exsanguinate build, I was running these blue and well, magic, if you want to be proper about it. I was just running magic maps and only doing the actual juiced up maps when I had to. I've been running everything juiced with this, and it, you know, there is something to be said for a good build that just works. The only thing I don't have is the Ancestral Cry portion of this, because we don't have War Cries being instant anymore, and you got to use that automation thing, so it really just kind of breaks all that here. Which is why I ended up switching over to Vengeance, which is something I did last league to try out. And it worked really well. So I don't really see a problem with it. I'm just kind of bummed that I can't do what you call it this league. You know, I don't know how much that Warcry made a difference, but I don't know, maybe not a whole lot now that I'm looking at this. I mean, this is not what tier 8 map or something like that. Like, this isn't very far. Oh, I've also been doing a bunch of delve too, since I've been generating a lot of sulfite as I go through the maps. And that's another thing. You can generate a lot of sulfite really quickly. You get those all flames with sulfite on them and everything. You go through and just blast through this. All right, we'll do this thing over here, and then I gotta go loot. But no problem. Been going through here killing stuff. I think we're on a tier 8 map. And there's just, this is not, use that Divine Vessel. I did get all of my, we've got everything, Untiring, Unbreakable, Unstoppable, and Undeniable. So all of those are done, all that's taken. Yeah, I mean, this build is just working great. What do I run? Tier 8? Oh, tier 6. This is just tier 6, I guess. But I have been running red maps on here. Earlier, I was actually running red maps, no problem, all good. This has been going fairly well. I just happen to have these on. Ah, there's still stuff down here. Been fighting all kinds of stuff. How many times have we died? Is it deaths? 28 times. So we've died 28 times. I know I died a few times in the campaign. Man, there's still stuff alive. How is there still stuff alive? I thought I cleared all this. Every time I turn around, there's more stuff in here. But anyway, that is my third build. I brought this one up. Like I said, I really want to focus on getting this one into bossing and spending as much time on that as possible. I'd like to get an Empower. I'd like to get some Awakened Gems. I think that's where my ceiling gets to, is that I need to do bossing, and we're early enough in the league. I've got my set up over here for bossing. All this is ready to go. I was thinking about this earlier. I think I might pull out all this Kurok stuff and come up in here into Abyss, because I'm going to need to get, I think I'm going to need to get something, one of those Abyssal belts, whatever that thing's called. I can't remember, but I think I'm going to need to get one of those for this at some point. And I think I might go up into the Abyss side, since it's we're kind of going that way on most of this. And Abyss is basically all on the right side, coming pretty much off of everywhere that I've already gone, except for this little bit here. But like, we can come off of almost all this and just pull all this stuff out. I don't know how much of that I'm going to decom off. Like, I don't think I want to take, maybe I'll take this side off and leave the other side on. I'm not sure. because we're going to do a lot of bossing and everything, and I'd like to be able to get the abyssal stuff down there, but anyway, or the abyssal belt. But anyway, that will do it for this video. I am going to continue on with this and try to get into bossing. I did beat the Infinite Hunger, whatever that dude is, right before the little mini boss you fight before the Eater. So I did the Exarch one with my Exsanguinate build. I did the Eater one with this build, and I'm ready to do both Eater and Exarch so I can get caught up where I normally am in these leagues, or at this point in the league. I'll be able to do that with this build once I get it up. Well, we've got about 10 more levels to go with this. And then at some point, I'm going to start farming Eater and Exarch both, try to work on those. I want to be able to take destructive play. This build will let me do that. And anyway, that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.